Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Live with NORML. I'm J.M. Padini, the Development Director for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. It's Friday, February 16th, 2024. It's been a minute since we've hung out together, and I am real excited to answer all of your burning questions live. Hey, take a quick second. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. And I'll take a quick peek over at our friends on Instagram to see what you all have to say as well. Look at that. There's so many of you on Instagram. I'm so glad we can finally stream there as well. Hello, True Exotic in Richmond. Hello, Conscious Butte in Virginia. Lots of Virginia today. Charlottesville, Hampton Roads. Hey, Houston, Texas. A couple of Houston, Texas. Miranda Farms in Massachusetts. I love it. Oh, I'm sorry, unfortunately, Georgia. Look, I think they're trying. Georgia's trying. They're just not doing a good job. You know what? Georgia's going to get there. Hey, speaking of Georgia, there's a question we have at NORML that we're always wondering. We'd love for someone to tell us. Did anyone ever in Georgia purchase a medical cannabis product at an independent pharmacy? Remember how independent pharmacies were supposedly allowed to apply to sell medical cannabis products? Let us know if you did. Hey, the joint CFO, what's Virginia's status? Oh, my friend, we're going to get there. Hey, Anthony in Binghamton. Hey, Zav Paul in Texas. Hey, Chris from NORML South Africa. Always good to see you here, Chris. Hey, Tiffany in Ohio. All right, let's read a little news, shall we? We'll do 3 states real quick, like. Hey, friend. We'll do 3 states that made some big news this week, and then we can get into the nitty-gritty if that's what y'all so desire, and I'll try to keep up. Okay, so South Carolina is one of only a dozen states that has yet to implement a comprehensive cannabis access program. And this week, their Senate advanced such a bill. That's good news. What's not good news is that currently members of the Republican-controlled legislature are patting themselves on the back for advancing what they consider to be one of the most restrictive medical cannabis access bills in the country. Now, listen, it may be that there may be plenty of flaws with it, and is that okay? Well, both yes and no. Given what you have to work with in South Carolina, passing something that's very restrictive is better than having nothing, because you have to start somewhere. And Virginia's a great example of that. We had this ridiculous bill back in 2015 that was very restrictive. It was so narrow. And we started with that in 2015, and then in 2021 we passed adult use. So you can get where you're going. You gotta at least put one foot forward. And so, good job, South Carolina. Let's get that bill across the finish line. Let's get it signed into law, and let's, keep working to make it better, just like Kentucky's doing right now. All right, South Carolina. Let's talk about, hey, Ramona, will Kansas ever get on board? You have every opportunity to, Kansas. Hey, Marcy, good to see you, friend. I think every state is eventually going to get on board, Kansas included, but we are down to the sort of bottom of the barrel on states when it comes to those through which we could legalize by citizen initiative, by voter referendum. So you know what that means. Elections have consequences. If you elect terrible people, you'll get terrible laws. So think about that during the election cycle. Real important. Let's talk about Hawaii. So lawmakers in both the Hawaii House and Senate have advanced multiple marijuana-related bills that would legalize the retail sale of adult use, bills that would decrease penalties. So there's already a decriminalization law in Hawaii, but it's at 3 grams. This would improve that decriminalization law, and as well as an expungement bill. You can check all of that out in the link I dropped. You know what? I think I have to do that manually for, excuse me, for Instagram. So let's see if I can. No, it does not. No. Instagram says no, thank you. I'm not going to break it. Hey, it's just on our page, normal.org. Go read there. I'm just happy we can stream there. I don't want to poke the tech gremlins. South Dakota now, however, we did Hawaii, we did South Carolina. Now we're going to do South Dakota. Everyone make the sad face. So there is medical cannabis in South Dakota, and there are employment protections in place, which is what voters wanted. But the legislature has instead decided to roll back employment protections. In fact, the measure is already awaiting approval by Republican Governor Kristi Noem, who's expected to sign it into law. Gross. So that's unfortunate. Hey, Ellie. Good to see you, friend. I have to look at like 3 different things to see your comments. Hello, Dr. Jose in Sao Paulo. I don't know who you're yelling at. We're a nonprofit, so we don't make money. Not you, Dr. Jose, somebody else. Hey, Michigan NORML, good to see you. Okay, that's yes, thank you. Goodbye. I said good day. Oh no. All right. That didn't go well. I'm breaking the internets on my I think I just killed our live stream on Instagram. Whoops. Look. This is why we can't have nice things. Whatever. Hey, Colton McKinley, when will I see dispensaries with solventless rosin in Virginia? I don't know. People who are watching from dispensaries in Virginia, answer that question either directly on Virginia NORML's Facebook, or if you answer it on Facebook, I'll see you. I'll see your comment soon. Thank you, Jack. The answer, thank you so much for asking, Colton. The answer is soon, smiley face. And I believe the person who's telling me. Hey, Bayside Organics in Alabama. Alabama, we actually shared a story earlier this week about Alabama, and let me see if I can go find that for you real quick. I'm not going to post it on Instagram because the Instagram is broken, but I will tell you that it's in the Alabama Reflector, and the article is "When Will Alabamians Get Medical Cannabis?" NORML's Paul Armentano is cited heavily throughout this piece, and it talks about what's going on in Alabama and the litigation, how the litigation over the pending charges has just sort of ground the process to a halt. Even if the lawsuits are resolved, though, it still could be several months before legal cannabis appears in the state. These are plants that got to be grown. And then because, as Paul mentions, because the state is an extraction-based only program, the products have to be made from there. It's not just as simple as, of course, growing and harvesting the plant. But AlabamaReflector.com has that story for you. That's that story for you. Hey, Roger, asking about Ohio. Roger says, well, I just show your comment, then I don't have to read it. Roger says, any idea what Ohio is doing? You heard correctly, they are trying to change what voters approved. And you're not wrong, Roger. In fact, we have 2 action alerts pending in Ohio right now, and one is, in fact, in opposition to House Bill 341 in Ohio, which is attempting to revise the adult use marijuana law. I can tell you it's been introduced, it's been referred to the Finance Committee in the House, and we have an action alert for that, Roger. Let's see if I can copy that link. I'll drop that in here. Roger, it should be just a few comments down for you. Tell Ohio lawmakers to respect voters and leave issue 2 alone. Make sure you send that and share it with everyone you know in Ohio. Ellie, did I block the wrong person? And I literally broke the live stream on Instagram, on NORML's Instagram. And to start it back up, I have to shut this one down and just, sorry, not today, Instagram. Hey, Woodyard and Rich Creek. Hey, Folly. Hey, great question. Waiting for DOT to approve mouth swab testing. Any info about that? Not since we published on it a few months ago. I haven't seen anything about it yet. Great, Roger. Good to hear that. Woodyard asks, what bill does NORML support in Virginia for adult use? I think originally the shorter bill was more properly drafted. The original bills being Senator Evans and Delegate Krizak's. I think that there's been some language added to Delegate Krizak's bill that will create issue with Republicans. And I think that Senator Rouse's bill created issues from the beginning. So which one do we support? Both of them, because the point is to pass both bills and get them into conference committee. And then once the bills are in conference committee, it's really where the real work starts. They have to sort of smash them into one version. and decide what they want to pass. Because there are enough votes to pass the bills on a party line. But if you pass the bills on a party line, it's nearly an automatic veto. Right now, adult use cannabis retail in Virginia is being used as a political football. I'm going to hold this hostage. I want this. If you want this, I want this. It's not alone. There are a lot of political footballs in play in Virginia right now, and I'm sure across the country. This isn't specific to Virginia. But giving the governor a bill that has no Republican support and that is not crafted in a way that will be emotionally comfortable for that administration is like an automatic veto. Now, I don't know, maybe you're looking for a veto because you want to, then campaign shouting about how Governor Youngkin vetoed cannabis retail. Just saying. Or maybe you're really serious about giving Virginia voters what they want. Legalization took effect in Virginia in 2021. We're 3 years, 3 years ago. It's too long to wait for retail sales to begin. So it's going to come down to just the conference committee. Do the conferees really believe that this is a real issue that they really want to deliver on for voters? Or is it just a messaging bill that they're willing to take the veto and kick the can down the road for another year? Let's find out together. Hey, Wade, good to see you. Exactly, Melissa. I didn't have to say it out loud. Melissa, I said plenty of the quiet parts out loud this week, so thanks for taking one for the team. Look, this is one of those great points when you're like, I think that outdoor cultivation is permitted in the Rouse bill, and I think that's going to be problematic, particularly on a larger scale for a lot of Republicans. Also, let's be honest, the only thing that outdoor grow in Virginia is not California. The only thing you're going to do with that on a large scale is extraction. What dirt are you putting that in? It's going to suck everything out of that dirt. You want to set that on fire and inhale it? I mean, it's going to be a heavily remediated product. It's not to say that, people can't lovingly craft, cultivate and tend to a small craft garden, but on a larger scale, it becomes problematic in a number of ways. Is it a deal breaker for anyone? No. Like, people who aren't doing it are going to find out what it's all about. Michael asks, best case scenario, if it gets worked out in committee and Young can agree with it, what time frame would that be? So currently, the earliest retail sales could begin in either bill is 1/1/25. That's right. Let's kick it down the road like almost another entire year. What's particularly frustrating from our standpoint at NORML, because we only represent consumers. We're not a business association. There's a gajillion of those. If you want to shout about business interests, go there. This is the consumer space, and that's only who we represent. But consumers are not prioritized in this policy conversation, which is really interesting given that there will one day be a handful of licenses for cannabis in Virginia. Let's say there's 1,000 total one day. Let's just say there's 1,000 total one day. That's still putting the interests of 1,000 businesses over the interests of about 1.5 million consumers. There's roughly, before you account for tourism in any way, which is going to be huge for cannabis in Virginia because we are the southernmost state. Before you account for that, if you take about 20% of the population, is it a cannabis consumer in Virginia? It's a pretty average number amongst all the states and where they rank. Virginia hits about right in the middle. at around 20%. It's over 1 million people. So there's a big gap between 1,000 and 1 million. And the interests of a small number of businesses are being prioritized over the interests of 1 million plus consumers. So, this there's nothing that says that the cannabis industry can't or shouldn't be fair, just, equitable, create economic opportunity for Virginians, prioritize economic opportunity for Virginians. But to say that in order to achieve those goals, we have to make consumers keep waiting is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Hey, Mike, welcome back. Hey, Tree, welcome back. Hey, Rice, is NORML providing comment for the current draft regs in Delaware? I expect the folks at Delaware NORML are saying something. I know that I think we have provided testimony in Delaware recently, but I don't believe it was specific to regs. We provided testimony in support of expanding physicians' ability to authorize patients' use of medical cannabis. So to let doctors decide bill in Delaware, that's what we most recently submitted comment for. Well, Tree, I don't know that you're to Virginia from North Carolina. Well, come on up. The water's light green, not dark green. Hey, Nova, have I heard anything on HSA 1? And again, in Virginia, that the Cannabis Control Authority has said that they intend to open it soon. And also back up to the other comment, someone asked about what the license situation is looking like in Virginia. The only ability for licensure in Virginia right now is for medical. There is one medical license that has not yet been issued. Cannabis Control Authority intends to open the request for applications sometime soon. But that's about as much as we got on that. Hey, I'm going to tell you about some other news. Hey, TC, good to see you. Let's talk about some other things. I feel like sometimes we tell you the same things over and over again, which is funny considering how much people love to say that, oh, well, we need more studies or we need more research, or if marijuana is rescheduled, it'll facilitate research, all this other nonsense, research. There's so much research. I feel like we're saying the same thing week after week after week, but there are new studies on the same topics. And here's another one, everyone's favorite, driving. Ellie, be quiet. Okay, so this study was on simulated driving performance, which is typically what is used in driving studies, unless it's like the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is letting people get high and drive on a closed course, like they did in Virginia. But mostly it's done on simulated driving performance. This one was done on medical cannabis use, and unsurprisingly, it found that when used as prescribed, not our word, the study author's words, but when used as directed, medical cannabis has a negligible impact on simulated driving performance. And I think it's interesting to compare this, or to put this study alongside one of our newses from last week that I didn't get to tell you all about because legislative session. But I'm going to pull it up for you right now. Daily consumers This is a different study, but daily consumers become tolerant to cannabis's psychomotor influencing effects. So I'm going to drop that one in here without comments as well. Daily cannabis consumers exhibit fewer changes in their performance than those who use it less frequently, according to this study. So it's not really, so taking that study and then looking at this other one, it's not really surprising to see these results, is it? Woodyard Grow, Woodyard, that's your name. Do you think we'll still be able to grow 4 personal plants outside in the future? Yes. There's nothing amending that code section. Folly asks, do we think the Florida campaign will win against the Attorney General's lawsuit? I hope so. I hope so. Folly, our friends at Suncoast NORML do a live every Saturday, I think. Should I have that right here? And they have a lot to say on this, I can assure you. So Sunday, every Sunday at 11 a.m. on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook for Suncoast NORML, and they will answer all your questions about that, I'm sure, and more. Thank you, TC. Yes, I had to open the thing to look at it. Since I had that page open, let me go ahead and share this with you all as well. Next week, we're going to do a special edition of Live with NORML on Thursday. I'll still try to do the Friday show to do legislative updates, and depending on what the General Assembly has in store for us, we may or may not get to do it, but on Thursday at a different time that will not conflict with the Virginia General Assembly, I will be hosting a special conversation with NORML Board of Directors members, Imani Dawson and Beverly Moran, and they will be discussing for Black History Month, NORML's fight for consumer equity and the war on drugs, ongoing harm to Black communities. So we'll have that scheduled to go live next Thursday at noon Eastern. Hello, person in Japan on Twitter. Thanks for watching. All right, let's get back to some more newses. Hey, and what will also, I'm glad you typed that, because also Lance are reminding me to take that other comment down. You're right. Beverly is a delightful human. I look forward to hearing her thoughts. And another study that will come is absolutely no surprise to any of you all. Researchers reported that cannabis products are well tolerated and that they are associated with better sleep, reduced anxiety, and greater quality of life. Have you seen that one from us before? Yes. I mean, not this study. This is another one. Happy Friday, Brent. All right. I got one more for you. I probably have more from last week, but we're going to talk about this other one. Hey, Lisa, you're right. Lisa says Pennsylvania keeps saying they're going to pass adult use, and we'll see if it comes to pass. Absolutely. They had some hearings last week. Yes, last week. They probably had hearings this week as well, but I went up last year for some hearings on adult use. Okay, this is a clinical trial, and this clinical this clinical trial looks at CBD oil versus placebo in patients with advanced cancer to see if it made it better or worse. And it didn't do either. There you go. There you go. AKA. Stencil, NORML couldn't care less about the businesses. Other than it's nice to work with people who aren't jerks. Hey, Jilzy. Jilzy asked if on Instagram, so I can't show you all, but are we pushing for ABC to sell in Virginia? Absolutely not. No. So, Jilzy, what I would love to share with you is that I was one of the chairs of the Legal and Regulatory Subcommittee for the Marijuana Legalization Work Group for the governor in Virginia in the interim of 2020, before we passed the bill in 2021. We did months and months and months of meetings and coalition building and put forth 500 pages of content on this, of how Virginia can legalize cannabis. And our policy recommendation was to have a standalone agency. The other chair, the other legal and regulatory subcommittee chair, was the head of ABC. And neither of us were like, oh yes, this should go at ABC. We were like, no, this should be a standalone agency. And that's what we have. We have a standalone agency, the Virginia Cannabis Control Authority, just for cannabis. You want a regulator that has expertise in the subject that it's regulating. That's why we created it. So, no. Thanks for asking, though. Ellie says, do you have any hope for federal descheduling? I mean, yeah, at some point. Then Ellie goes on to say, probably rescheduling, though. Well, Ellie, that is in fact what HHS recommended, was instead of having marijuana scheduled alongside heroin, to instead have it scheduled alongside anabolic steroids. Okay. I mean, that's not, the general public doesn't support that opinion, but whatever. Is that going to happen? That's sort of the million-dollar question at the federal level. There have been many rescheduling reviews, and the DEA has rejected all of them. So that's what we're all kind of waiting for now, is the DEA going to agree with the HHS? Even if they agree, even if they say, oh, okay, we accept this and agree, that doesn't automatically make it happen. They still have a process to go through. So you don't have to get too worked up. Yes, be like KA, write letters daily. Yes. Tree, states do weird stuff like this where they try to make cannabis available only through like state-run stores, and seems to be some legal concerns around having state employees sell federally illegal substances. Hawaii is well poised to legalize. However, they had a lot of really wacko testimony during the hearings they had. I can't remember if it was this week or last week, but whatever, it doesn't matter. In recent hearings, which NORML staff watched, it appeared to be very organized and just like the parade of sad grandparents where the marijuana was going to kill everyone. So hopefully Hawaii's legislature was like, sure, I see you. KA, what else can you do besides writing letters? I mean, really, that's what's most important. You can also call and leave voicemails. Most legislatures, like I know you're in Virginia, are in session right now. And the most important ways you can engage right now, emails, phone calls. And it's okay if it's just a voicemail. Because remember, you're calling and you're just talking to the person who's answering the phone. It's going to be an intern. It's going to be the administrative assistant. It's going to be the receptionist. So you're just going to be polite and perfunctory and say the bill number, if you're a constituent, support or oppose. That person is not the lawmaker. The way to engage with lawmakers is to go see them in person. You can definitely, if you're a constituent, it's a lot easier. You can call or email and ask for an appointment with your representatives. Sign up for their email lists and follow them on social media and find out where they're going to be on the weekends, in the evenings, and go see them there. So you can not only try to see them, at your Capitol, but you can also see them when they're out in the wild in the district where you live. That's a really great way to engage with them, is to go to their functions or functions that they'll be at. Keep it polite, keep it friendly, but go to them and talk to them about your issue. It's really meaningful when lawmakers see constituents seeking them out to talk about what they care about in person. So those are my pro tips for citizen activism. It's not wearing a t-shirt. It's not a bumper sticker. It's on a button. For a lawmaker, it's direct engagement, and that's emails, phone calls, in-person visits. I'm just going to leave this up here for Lance's comment is priceless. Lance says, vote for better politicians. Just give me an opportunity to get this one out, Lance. And make good choices, because elections have consequences. Melissa asks, how do we get the contact info for staffers so we have a better chance of getting meetings? So most state legislatures are going to have that information available on their website. For example, in Virginia, it's virginiageneralassembly.gov, and then you can go to the appropriate pages and find the people's information. Another way to do it, though, is to go to that lawmaker, to their campaign page, to their own website, and then there'll be outreach information on their website. Right, Tree? Good point, Ellie. Ellie says that she's working for early voting and we need more people to vote. I know it's primaries, but they matter too. They do matter. Maybe you're in a state that has open primaries where you don't have to be registered, and maybe that's not your party of choice, but you can still influence the primary. Oh, folly. Thank you for that. I'm not going to say it out loud because I'm not going to say any of the words that I want to make come out of my face right now. Oh, that's so cute. I bet that was fun spending your donors' monies on a trip to an island. Cute. Oh, goodness. All right, we did all of the news. I want to tell you about, real quick, we have a few events coming up that you want to put on your horizon, of course. In March 7th through 9th is the 2024 Kentucky Cannabis Conference. I'm going to share this link with you. This is the link to the Facebook event. I'm sure from there you can find the registration link. you should go. It's being produced by Kentucky NORML. It's going to be, I think it's going to be really big because Kentucky, they haven't had anything like that yet. Hey, Ramona. Ramona, what state are you talking about? Excuse me. And then also, I want to share with you all the NORML event coming up. There we go. Let me get it together, kids. All right, the 2024 NORML Aspen Legal Seminar is May 30th through June 1st in Aspen, Colorado. Super excited to be headed back to the Gantt. We haven't been there in a minute, but they've been such wonderful hosts for NORML over the years. We're very excited to be able to return again this year, and I know you all are as well. So get tickets now. Let's hang out in Aspen and talk about laws. Tree, I haven't seen anything more recently regarding the Cherokee tribe and what they're doing with regulations. Thank you, Ramona. Kansas. Well, it's, so Ramona's in Kansas and says Laura Kelly is on board and ready to sign it, but doctors don't like the inhaling part. Police are totally against it. They always are. You write letters and call. Yes, please keep doing that. And it's fine to start with a more restrictive bill. It's not ideal, but that was something that we struggled with here in Texas, in Georgia, 3 states that all had initially very similar medical cannabis bills that were hyper restrictive, extraction based, limited access, limited licensure models. And the 3 states have all done very different things with those, but as long as you start somewhere, you can make it better the next year or every 2 years if you're in Texas. I agree, Tree. It's not ideal, but we worked through that math in Virginia. It started with an extraction-based model, and nothing in an extraction-based model prohibited the creation of other extraction-based products. It's all about how you write the code, and be smart. Be smart. Yes, Lance is saying all of the good things this week. Hey, you know what tomorrow is? It's when the Weekend Weed Read hits your inbox. If you aren't subscribed to it, I'm very sorry for your loss. But it's not too late. You can still get the Weekend Weed Read in your inbox tomorrow between like 9 and 9:20 is when it's going to hit your inbox, depending on which batch you're in. All you have to do is subscribe to NORML News and check the Weekend Weed Read box. Then you get it right there. We have some exciting giveaways. What's going on there? We have some exciting giveaways that are going to come up on the NORML Instagram. One of them is a custom rolling tray. I'm going to share some content with you all on that soon. The person who's making it for us, specific custom for this giveaway, is documenting the process on his TikTok. So that'll be fun. Hey, Sherry. Good to see you. I already did my sign, Sherry. And then I spoke with another company yesterday that is really excited to support NORML. They're an accessories company, and they'll be putting together a package for us to do another giveaway with on NORML's Instagram as well. So, stay tuned for those. I'm very much enjoying this weird conversation about steak sauce and cheese. Anyhow, Mike, you're welcome for the card if you're talking to me. I think that I'm just going to assume that Mike is talking to me, and that what I did was send Mike his 2024 NORML membership card. You can get one of those yourself, friends, if you haven't already. Join NORML. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for confirming that I am in fact delightful and sent you one of these. I wish I'd been paying attention. I could have written a note on your envelope because I literally mail them myself. Melissa, yours arrived today as well. I wrote a note on yours. Listen, friends, did I make it? I didn't. Oh, I did. I see it right there. Join NORML. Yeah, so join NORML. And for those of you watching on Instagram who might not be seeing, who aren't seeing these comments, because when I try to comment on Instagram, I break it, go to norml.org/join and join. And then I send you a card. It's that simple. What else? And the last thing I want to tell you before we say goodbye for the week is to make sure you're visiting NORML's Take Action Center. So on our Take Action Center, you can see all of the cannabis-related legislation that's pending around the country, and you can use the action alerts we have right there. Click and send. You can send an email to your lawmakers. It goes straight from you. It doesn't come from us. You can use the platform that we provide to send these letters, these pre-written letters to your lawmakers in support of good bills and in opposition to bad bills. Hey, in Virginia, we just successfully opposed 2 bills that would have criminalized literally anybody who consumed cannabis and drove a car. I don't mean like got high and drive. I mean like consumed cannabis and then 2-3 days later drove a car, criminal. Terrible proposal, not based in science at all. Over 600 emails were sent from constituents to their lawmakers through our Action Alert platform, and those bills were never even given a hearing. High five. That was for you all. So these do work. Go to NORML's Take Action Center, send emails to your lawmakers in support of good bills and opposition of bad bills. Share it with your friends and family. Michael, you're welcome. Automotive aficionado, thanks so much for asking. NORML membership is $42 a year because our treasurer thinks that's funny. Get it? I know you do. Yes, Tree, you should be sending the action alerts. If you have a long legislative cycle, then sure, every month is good. But if you have a short one, like some states do, you want to do it weekly. And to improve deliverability, you can just change the subject line. Listen, the lawmakers themselves are likely not the ones that are reading these. It's their chiefs of staff, it's their legislative aides. Often what they're doing is just tallying up the number of emails that they get on a certain topic. Maybe an intern or a legislative aide is going to write you back with a form letter that they have. It's like, we don't like marijuana, or we already voted for this, or whatever. But you can always just change the subject line. If you don't want to rewrite the entire body of it, just change the subject line and send the same action alert. I go in at least for Virginia's alerts and change them up every few weeks so that they're a little fresher. Some lawmakers are like, yeah, well, we can tell this is a form letter and it came from whatever, which doesn't matter. The constituent still took the time to write to you. Thanks, Tree. I'll let our treasurer know that you think he's good people. Yeah, Melissa, those were the two driving bills. Oh, good. Yeah, you can always, if you're sending emails directly yourself, you can always download a NORML fact sheet, a white paper, and attach it to your email. I'll put that link in here for you in just a second. All of our fact sheets are available as PDFs as well. You just click on the title, and then when it goes to the page, the web version of that fact sheet, there's a little PDF square up in the corner. Just download it right there, attach it to an email, or take it with you if you're going in person, Melissa, and hand those out. TC, thank you. Thank you for being a sustaining donor. You're welcome, Woodyard. Thanks for joining. All right, friends, this has been great. I have to get to my 5 o'clock now, so we're done. Hey, before you go, though, take a quick second to hit that like, follow, or subscribe button wherever you're watching so you never miss when NORML goes live. Be sure to join us next Thursday at noon for a special edition of Live with NORML. And I hope to see you back here next Friday to do this all over again. Hey, everyone, have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.